What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Premier League Predictions. I'm here with my co-host, Eric Ziegler. We're coming off an
What up?
international break of the Premier League, so we're getting back into these predictions. We had a week off to reflect on our very bad predictions last time around in Week 8. We both went 3-7. That puts me at 44-35 and Eric at 41-38. So still a close battle between us two. Hopefully we could do better this week, Eric.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, we can't get much worse.
Yeah, true. 3-7. That's definitely our worst week by far. But to be fair, there was a crap ton of draws. No, it was just
Yes.
draws galore.
Yeah.
But which you kind of predicted, so maybe you get the tiebreaker there. But anyways, let's move into this. We got Liverpool versus Everton. Take us off.
Yeah, so we got the Merseyside derby. It should be a good match overall. So if we reflect from 2 weeks ago, we have Everton, who took a 3-0 win over Bournemouth. That was a good showing from Everton. I like what I saw. Everton has really started to show what they can do this season, and I think that we really have to start paying attention to them now in terms of if they can get back into the middle of the table and start competing again. They had a really rough start, but it happens. On the flip side of that, we have Liverpool, who took a 2-2 draw with Brighton. That's not a bad, turnout for them. They had a couple of things here and there, a couple of players missing. It is what it is. But from both teams, I mean, they've performed well in recent weeks, and I think that it should be a good game to watch. It's always a good game to watch between these two teams. But I think that the way that these two teams have been playing this season, Liverpool has the edge. They just have been outperforming a lot of teams, especially Everton, who have had the rough start. But I don't want to take anything away from Everton. I think that they can continue to play how they have been, make a little bit of a comeback, but I just don't think it's going to be enough against Liverpool this week.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with you there. Everton showing signs of life, better play, but I think Liverpool it's going to be too much for them to handle, so I'm also have to go Liverpool. Moving on, we got Bournemouth versus the Wolves. The Wolves also, I can't remember what they did last week, coming off a draw. I can't remember
Yep.
against who, but
Villa.
okay, Villa. Okay, so they had a win against Man City and a draw against Villa, so that's looking pretty good for them. What you
hmm
got here?
Yeah, so between Bournemouth taking the 3-0 loss to Everton 2 weeks ago, Wolves, like you said, took the win over City and then took a draw against Villa. That's two big teams that they performed against, and you can't take anything away from it. I think the Wolves have really found what they need to do in terms of, playing coherently and, getting their tactics down. I think that they've really kind of found their stride and their style. And I think that's really important for this Wolves squad moving forward. On the flip side of that, you have Bournemouth, who have, you know, there goes the backdrop again.
Go, go, go,
You
go.
have Bournemouth, who've been kind of up and down depending on what's happening throughout the season. They've played really well, but they've also had a couple of down matches, like last week against Everton. You can't really take a 3-0 loss to Everton this early, but I think that between the two teams, it should be a really good match. Both of them just kind of need to keep performing if you're Wolves, or step up a little bit and show us what you can really do if you're Bournemouth. But honestly, it could go either way. But I think that with the way that Wolves have been playing after beating City, drawing with Villa, I think they're going to take the win this week.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go kind of based off of what you want to call it, how form right now. Both teams form. Bournemouth coming off of 2 losses. Wolves coming off of actually 2 great matches. So I'm gonna just continue to ride the Wolves hype train. I'm going with Wolves. Did you say Bournemouth?
I said Wolves.
Wolves. Okay, we were both raised by the Wolves. All right. Brentford versus Burnley.
Yeah, so this is an interesting match. So Brentford had a 2-1 loss to United, which I will definitely be talking more in depth later. Uh, I personally think that Brentford probably should have won that game in the end, but they just let it go right in the last few minutes. And we will talk about the man, the myth, the legend of Man United later. But they did take the loss after what probably should have been a Brentford win. On the flip side of that, you have Burnley, who took a 1-4 loss to Chelsea. Not what you want to see, but it is what it is. I think the Chelsea really came back to their form in that match, and Burnley, it is what it is. You just kind of have to roll with the punches. But between these two teams, you have a Brentford squad who held their own and probably should have won their game. against United a couple of weeks ago and has had really good showings throughout the year. They occasionally slip against some of the larger teams, but they hold their own for the most part, and I think that's what's really important. Then you have a Burnley squad who's been up and down and has been able to put up some points here and there, but hasn't really been able to, run away with anything or take anything, by storm. It hasn't really, made a big impression, I think. But, anything can happen in the game, and I think that after an international break, both teams are going to come back and be ready to play. But honestly, I think that Brentford's just going to have the edge in this match. I think that they're just going to outclass Burnley just enough to get the win.
Dang it, I was going to say the same thing. Well, even though these are two bottom of the team tables, I think this match is going to prove to be an interesting one, even though they're bottom of the table teams. But I'm also going Brentford. So,
yep.
Moving on, we got Man City, who's been kind of on the struggle bus, looking to get back on, and I would not say anything easy coming up against a Brighton squad here to get back on track.
No, I think you're 100% right in this. Man City took a 0-0 or 0-1 loss to Arsenal 2 weeks ago. That's not what you want to see if you're City. And then before that, they lost to Wolves. They've had a couple of rough weeks recently, and I think that they really need to get back into form. On the flip side of that, you have Brighton, who's been playing all right, and they took the 2-2 draw with Liverpool. That's not an easy feat. But I think that between these two squads, you're looking at two very strong teams that know what they want to do, know their style, can perform at a very high level, and honestly, it's just going to come down to the day. But I think really Pep and City need to get together, and I think that they all understand what they need to do to win, and I think that they're going to come through in the next week and get that. I think that Brighton has been playing really strong and know what they need to do and have been playing very high-level football, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough after the international break and after a reset that City's going to have. They're going to, pump the brakes on what's been happening. They're going to come back in, and they're going to take the league back in their fashion. I think that City's going to take the win over Brighton, but it should be a really good match to see.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It should be a really good match. The last time these two teams faced, it ended in a 1-1 draw. So we'll see. It's going to be at home for Man City. I'm just going to go with Man City because I just think this is the time they'll get it back on track. If not, it'll stay interesting for them. But it couldn't be a better time for the Premier League. We have 4 teams at the top of the table who have a legit shot at the title. So getting excited. Yeah. Man City is my pick. Moving on, we got Newcastle versus Crystal Palace.
Yeah, my backdrop fully dropped, dude.
Backdrop drop.
Yeah. Can we take a cut and then edit this?
Oh my gosh. Alright, now that we got Eric's backdrop fixed, right back into this. Where did we leave off? Newcastle, Crystal Palace.
Yeah, so after that embarrassing moment, Newcastle took a 2-2 draw with West Ham last week or 2 weeks ago, which, is a perfectly good score for those teams. I think that it was a nice match, and I think that both teams performed very well. On the flip side of that, you have Crystal Palace, who took a 0-0 draw with Nottingham Forest, another good matchup between two teams that I said a couple weeks ago could have gone anyway, and I think that they were pretty equally matched as well. So between these two teams, you have a very strong Newcastle squad who's been performing at a very high level throughout the season so far, and you have a Crystal Palace squad who can take an upset, and run away with it any day of the week. So basically what you're looking at here is whether or not Crystal Palace can take advantage of any mistakes that Newcastle is going to make. And if I'm looking at what's happened this year so far, I don't think Newcastle is going to make a lot of mistakes. I think that they're going to play some, pretty, locked down, touch and go here. And I think that they're going to be pretty locked down, in general. I don't think that they're going to really allow Crystal Palace to take advantage of anything that happens. So between these two teams and what I think will happen in terms of, advantages and who's going to be able to take care of what and, what's going to happen, I think that Newcastle is just going to play too locked up and too defensively in terms of holding the ball and keeping possession for Crystal Palace to really get through and do much. So I think Newcastle's going to take the win.
You got Crystal Palace. Okay.
I got Newcastle. Well,
yeah.
What? No.
Newcastle's got an easy dub here. Not much to talk about. Crystal Palace's dog. Newcastle's not. Here we go.
Oh,
Newcastle.
Them fighting words.
All right. I got Newcastle.
Gun him in the comments. Gun him.
I got Newcastle. And in this next matchup, I'm going Luton all the way, baby. Let's go.
Way to announce that one. Yeah, so we have Nottingham Forest versus Luton. Basically, what you're looking at here is Luton, after taking the 0-1 loss to Spurs. Still a good showing from Luton that they didn't give up more than one goal. I think that it was a good showing from them. On the flip side of that, like we said earlier, you had the 0-0 draw with Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace. So realistically, what you're looking at here is whether or not Luton can hold down Nottingham's offense, keep them shut down, and then hit them on a counter-attack, which I think they're going to have to do, because I just don't think that they're going to individually one-on-one outclass Nottingham. But I think it'll be interesting to see. I think if Luton's going to win a game, this is a good one that they can take an opportunity from. I think they're going to take a draw this match.
Eric's going with the draw. First different pick. All right. Now we got another big matchup. I think this is their second time playing this year, I want to say. Chelsea versus Arsenal. I could be wrong about that. So.
I don't know about that. But yeah, we have Chelsea and Arsenal. So Chelsea, like we said 2 weeks ago, took a 4-1 win over Burnley. They have returned to the form. Now it's all about consistency. If you're Chelsea, you can't let off the gas. You have to keep rolling. Yeah, you had the international break and you had a week to just kind of calm down and go, okay, we're back, and this, that, and the other thing. You cannot let off the gas if you're Chelsea. You are still under a lot of fire here. You got to keep going, keep performing. You are going against Arsenal, though. That's rough. You're going against an Arsenal squad that won over Man City 1-0 2 weeks ago and has done nothing but perform. Gabriel Martinelli did really well, against City and put in the goal that won them the game. He's been performing well, and I like what I see from him and the rest of the squad from Arsenal. If you are Chelsea, you can't let off the gas. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep winning. But I just don't see it happening against Arsenal this week. I think that Arsenal is going to take the win. I think that they're just going to outclass Chelsea individually. And I think that between these two teams, if Chelsea can keep it close, maybe get a draw, I think that'll be good for them. They just can't get blown out.
Dang it. I was going with Arsenal.
Oh, what are the odds that we both go for the team that's likely to win?
We're a bunch of losers. All right. No, I was thinking about the Chelsea-Liverpool matchup. That's why I thought. So this is the first time they're playing. But Arsenal, we both got Arsenal. Moving on, we got Sheffield United versus Manchester United. I don't think Man United is so bad that they're going to lose to Sheffield United.
You never know. Sheffield lost 1-3 to Fulham. Not a great showing from Sheffield. They kind of let it go. 3 goals is a lot to concede, but overall they've performed all right in the past few weeks. They've kind of lowered the gap between them and other teams, and they've performed better and better as the weeks go on. So I'm expecting them to kind of have a reset during the break, come back together, keep playing at a higher level than they have in the first couple of weeks, but I still don't know if it's going to be enough to beat United. On the flip side of that, United, I said it earlier, probably should have lost their match against Brentford, but they had the man, the myth, the legend, Scott McTominay come in and absolutely bail them out with 2 goals right at the last minute. He was insane. He needs to be in that team right now because apparently he's the one killing it. And honestly, I don't blame him. He came in there, did what he needed to do, and got the win for his club. That's a feat that, not many people have done this season so far, come in the last few minutes and put 2 goals in and get your team a win. That's rough. But, I mean, I think that United in general have struggled. I think that they still need to figure things out. And in general, they need to keep going. They can't afford to lose against Sheffield. But honestly, I don't know. It depends on what you do. It depends on how you perform. If you keep going, you have a chance at a lot of opportunities for the rest of the season. But if you let off the gas now, if you take your foot off the pedal and, start to slow down again, I don't know if you're going to catch back up. So I think United needs to win this game, and I think they will.
Dang, bold words. I think Man United's going to win. Moving on, we got Aston Villa coming off a draw. West Ham, who's not been playing terrible this season. They've been giving competitive showings. I'm going to go with Aston Villa, though, because I just love the way they've been playing.
Yeah, I really like this game. This is the game that I'm looking forward to the most this week between West Ham and Villa. They both took a draw last week. West Ham took a 2-2 against Newcastle. Villa took the 1-1 against Wolves. So it was a weak showing from Villa, if I'm going to be honest. But I mean, Wolves can come out and surprise a lot of people, and I think that taking a draw against Wolves is what it is. But I
Talking
think that
trash
Villa is just
about
a little
Villa?
bit better than that. What?
Talking trash about Villa?
No, I'm not
Nice.
talking trash about Villa. I think that Wolves just came in and played a little bit better than anybody was, expecting. But I don't put it past either team. On the flip side of that, I mean, you have West Ham who's performed really well, like you said, throughout the beginning of the season, and is still a really strong and competitive squad. They've battled with the best of them and kept their own. So realistically, this is going to be a really tough game, and it's the one that I'm looking forward to the most.
All right.
I don't know. I like West Ham in this matchup. I think that they have a really good squad, but I like Villa. I really like the way that Villa's been playing. I like their play style better, which
Copying
is a
me.
personal
You
choice.
copying
I to
me.
be different, and because I honestly have no idea, I think it's going to be a really good game.
Uh-oh.
I think it's going to be a draw.
Oh, what a baby. He didn't pick West Ham. All right.
I think it's going to be a really good game. I don't honestly. The result can be whatever it is. I think it's going to be the game to watch this week.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. Be a little exciting. Moving on, we got the final game of the week. It'll be on a Monday, Tottenham versus Fulham. I really don't see Tottenham losing this match, and if they do, it would be a tragedy.
Nice emphasis. So Spurs took the 1-0 win over Luton, and Fulham took the 3-1 win over Sheffield. And, honestly, like you said, it would be a tragedy if Spurs lost this game. But I don't entirely know. I think that overall Spurs probably have the better squad, but Fulham can surprise. They've been playing well. They haven't been, the top-level team that they were last year, but they've still been performing really well, and they can hold their own. I think that it should be a really good game to watch. I just don't entirely know. I think that the defense of Fulham is just going to have to stay really strong and not let anybody through or get, breakaway runs or anything, because if that happens, I think that, Spurs is just going to run away with it. But I think if the back line for Fulham can stay strong and, hold their own against Tottenham, I think it should be a good showing for both teams. I just am not entirely sure if if Fulham's offense is going to be able to break through for Spurs. But I'm not entirely sure, but I think I'm going to have to join you in a Spurs win. I think that honestly it's probably more likely that Spurs is going to have an opportunity to break through the back line and just take an opportunity into the back of the net.
And you know what I had to say about that?
What?
What do you think of Tottenham?
No.
Just kidding. All right, that wraps up our
Not
picks
this week.
for
Not this week.
That wraps up our picks for the week. Hopefully it's a lot better than last week. And we're back into Premier League football, so that's exciting. Hopefully you guys enjoy the games as well. Let us know down below what you think. Any of your comments or any predictions you have, let us know down below. Share this video with all your friends, your family, and all that good stuff. And leave a like, and we will see you in the next video. See you.
See you.